everyone, welcome to our secondary mathematics webinar. And again, my name is Tom Vance, and I direct the Master of Arts in Teaching program. I think it's safe to say that the Master of Arts in Teaching program at Kansas State University is the fastest growing teacher education program in Kansas. It's also rated in the top 10 by US News and World Report. And we're really excited that we just added secondary mathematics last year. And we're generating quite a bit of interest. Good evening, Stephanie. Welcome to the meeting. And so I'm just gonna turn things over to the coordinator of the secondary mathematics program, Dr. Tuan Nguyen, and he's going to tell you some specifics about the secondary program. And I'm gonna mute myself, but I'm available to answer any questions you have. You can use the chat feature all the way through this, everyone, and ask questions. We're happy to answer questions that way. You know, and I'm sure Dr. Nguyen will share his contact information. You know, if you have any questions after tonight's presentation, we would love to maintain contact with you. Last thing I'll say, and then I'm muting myself, I promise, is that because you signed up for this webinar, if you reach out to Dr. Nguyen with an email, he can provide you with an application fee waiver. I think it's normally $65. And Dr. Nguyen can reach out to Brittany Burgess, and because you attended the webinar, we can get you a waiver. So welcome, everyone. K-State's a great place, and we really hope that all of you will join us in what we think is a really great program.
Well, thank you, Dr. Vance, for that introduction. Like Dr. Vance said, I'm Tuan Nguyen. I'm the coordinator for the MAT Secondary Math program. We just started last year. So this is our second year coming this summer. So I'm just going to go really briefly about what we offer, what your courses will look like, what we prepare you for. Okay. All right. So really quickly, that's my contact information. So it'll be there at the end again. This is Dr. Vance. This is Brittany Burgess. If you attend this webinar, you can email me or you can email Brittany, and we will waive that applications for you. Okay, so that saves you a bit of money there. All right, so why K-State? Well, first, we are one of the few online programs that allows you to get your master's in arts of teaching in just 12 months. Okay, and the cost to you is $15,360. We do not, unlike many programs, hide that cost and try to add in a bunch of extra fees or make it hidden that you don't know what it is. We tell you up front that's what it is. All right. There's a lot of convenience and flexibility for the program. It is online. It is asynchronous, meaning you do it at your own time. Okay. A lot of the classes have pre-recorded videos where you can watch beforehand, and then you do the assignments. You can get help when you need to or when you want to. And it is it serves you where you are. All right. It is personalized because we use the TA model, where we have a TA who will stay with you through the whole program while you're at K-State. They will grade your assignments. They get to know you very well. So if things come up, they will be your direct first point of contact, right? To let them know if things are happening and you need this or that, right? They will grade all your assignments for you. They get to know you very well. They provide you a lot of additional feedback, and that's on top of the faculty who will also get to know you and give you feedback. All right. So the program is in its 6th year overall. For the math program, it will be in the 2nd year coming this summer. Okay. In terms of quality, we have a lot of expertise on our team. Myself in particular, for this program, I was a math teacher for 7 years in middle school and high school. So I taught from 6th grade all the way to 12th grade, teaching from pre-algebra all the way to AP Calculus BC. All right, so I've taught essentially almost every subject and topic in from 6th to 12th grade for math. The TAs that you'll have are also math teachers who know the materials very, very well. Our MAT students generally are very diverse. They come from all over the country. They're very talented. They're very committed. And as Dr. Vaughn says, we are ranked number 10 in CNI's master's degree. All right. So now let's talk specifically about what your courses will look like in this program. All right. So in the May intro session, you will take the EDCI 710, the Social Foundation of K-12. That's a 3-hour course, and the EDCI 890 Master Project. In the summer, you have a curriculum instruction and assessment course on how to teach diverse learners. And then the secondary content field colloquium 1. That's the course that I teach. All the colloquium courses are the ones that I teach. All right. So let me talk about that one specifically. In the colloquium courses, now, to apply into this program, you have to have a math background because you want to be a math teacher, right? So you either have to have a math degree or you were in a math-related degree program like physics or chemistry or economics or finance. So you know your math background. Okay, you don't need to take any additional math classes. All right, you take the practice test, you pass that, you know the materials coming in. So now the question is, how do you teach that to students, right? But at the same time, many of you, it may have been a while since you've done, say, trigonometry, right? It may have been a while since you've done calculus, right? It may have been a while since you've done proofs for geometry. We completely understand that. All right, so in the colloquium courses, what we do is we provide opportunity for you to either shore up on topics that you aren't sure about, okay? Say, for example, you haven't done geometry in a long time, right? Then we have a unit for you to essentially get yourself caught up on geometry. We have videos, we have lesson plans, we have practice problems, all right? So then you do a test during that course to make sure that, hey, I really know the material. Now, say that you know your algebra very, very well, and you ace that course. You did very well in the practice there. You don't need a reminder on algebra. Okay. So then in the colloquium 1 course, then what you would do then is spend that time creating a lesson plan. Okay, learn how to create lesson plans so that you would think about, like, how do I teach this to students? Say, for example, you're thinking about, how do I teach factoring to students, right? What things do I have to think about? What are the scaffolding that I have to build in? How do I make sure I get my students who are falling behind? How do I make sure I challenge my high flyers, right? So for that unit, then you will work on writing lesson plans to really teach a particular topic that you care about. Okay, so in colloquium 1, we deal with geometry, we deal with algebra and number theories. And then in colloquium 2, which is in the fall, that's the EDCI 798 course here. That's when we deal with calculus and statistics and trigonometry, right? So essentially all the key topics that you would need to teach math in middle school and high school or secondary schools here, you would either get a chance to shore up on a topic that you are not quite sure about, or you get to work on your skills on how to write lesson plans. That's in conjunction with all the other courses you're taking, right? So that you get a sense of, hey, how do I do this right? How do I write lesson plans that work for all my students, right? So to bring them all along, okay? All right, and then in the winter session, you will have a colloquium 3 course. Now, we know that being a teacher isn't just about knowing the content. It isn't just about writing lesson plans. There's a lot of professional development. That's getting to know math organizations as a field. That's also learning how to use technology, okay? Tapping all the available online tools that are available. So that in winter intercession course, we will work on those kind of things, okay? So we have materials on PD, professional development. We have materials on online tools and resources, math organizations, to get you acquainted with the math profession, all right? Or teaching as a math profession, all right? And in the spring, you have your internship in K-12 school, along with your action research. All of that add up to a total of 31 hours, okay, or that $15,000 that we talked about before. All right. All right. So now, what are the admission requirements? Well, the graduate application is usually $65, but if you attend this seminar, you can email Brittany Burgess or myself, and we will waive that for you. Okay. Your GPA has to be 3.0 or above, right? You have to have the practice test for the secondary for the math. There's some interview questions, there are letters of recommendation. So we want to know that you are really fit to be a teacher and you want to be a teacher. All right. And the deadline is May 5th. Okay. So that's sort of the admission requirements. All right. Now, so I'm going to talk a little bit more about the practicum and internship, which many of you probably have questions about. So the practicum is in the fall, and it consists of about 66 hours. So 6 hours per week over 11 to 12 weeks. Okay. It begins in the second week of September, and it ends the end of November, the first part of December. So for this current cohort, they've got a few more weeks to go here, a couple more weeks to go, and then they'll be done with that. All right. And then you will complete your student teaching and internship experience in the same classroom in the spring. And we will work with you to find that classroom that where you can do your teaching. Okay. No matter where you are. All right. We'll work with you on that. Our coordinators are very, very good, and they have a lot of experience doing this. And this is, so and you're well aware, this is a full-time commitment, where you will meet the teacher's schedule, including meetings, parent-teacher conference, and things like that. Starts in the first week of January and ends the first full week of April. Okay, so this is not one where you can do your student teaching and practicum and then have a full-time job at the same time easily. Okay, because it's during the school day. All right, so it's really intense, but we can get it done in 12 months. We have a lot of practice doing this. We know how to do it. We know the mathematics. We know how to teach you how to teach, and we will get you there. All right. Now, in terms of funding your MAT program, there are several different scholarships and grants and loans that are available. There's the Teacher Public Service Loans Forgiveness. There's the Global Campus Scholarship. There's student loans you can apply for the FAFSA. Programs that are maybe too specific to your state and country, because we do have people from other states and other countries who apply. There's also the Kansas Teacher Service Scholarships, which is about $2,200 per semester for teaching in Kansas after you graduate from our program. So there's a link there, and we can share that with you as well. All right. So in short, we have a really strong program here for you. You can do it in 12 months. You have excellent feedback from the TA and from the faculty who are experts in the topic and in teaching. Okay. And we offer you a lot of value for your time. Okay. All right. So once again, this is the page that you can go and look up information. There's my contact information. There's Dr. Vaughn's, and then there's Brittany's information. Okay. All right. So that basically wraps up the bulk of the information. I am sure you have questions. Dr. Vaughn's and I will be here to answer your questions. Dr. Vaughn's, did I miss anything critical?
No, excellent job. And yeah, if you have any specific questions, I usually tell, we went from 52 students in the MAT 6 years ago to 214 students last year. And we anticipate for your cohort, we'll be at 250, 300. One thing I'd like to stress is that although that seems large, and you think, oh, large program online, maybe kind of impersonal, but as Dr. Nguyen talked about, we really, because we use this grad cap model, we really are able to sort of personalize your experience. So all of you would be assigned to one grad cat. So there usually are 5 students per grad cat. We cap it at 5 or at the max 10 students per grad cat. And you're with that grad cat who's an experienced veteran teacher from the beginning of the program until the end. K-State's sort of been known for being a personal, friendly, that kind of place. And we want our online programs to have that same sort of kind of individual student-centered approach and focus. So yeah, we're happy to. And by the way, I should say too that Kansas Teacher Service Scholarship that Dr. Nguyen mentioned is that's $2,200 per semester for you, as long as you agree to teach in a Kansas school for 1 year after you're finished with your degree. So basically, you could get a third, roughly a third of your degree paid for because you're in what we call a high needs field. And so mathematics and English language arts, believe it or not, in elementary. And there are two other what are called hard to fill positions. And so we sweeten the pot. When I say we, I mean the state of Kansas sweetens the pot. So to get you to help you to finance your teacher education. You can also, another benefit of K-State's program is you can, wherever you're at, whether you're in KC or Mound City or North Bend or wherever you are. I mean, we've had people in Pakistan and the Philippines and Guam, the Virgin Islands, China, and we can work with you, and you can be placed in as long as it's an accredited school, yeah, and they agree that to take a K-State teacher, and most do, then we can place you in local schools. Like 95% of the time, you give us a list of what you want, and then we with 95% of the time, we're able to give you your first choice. The other thing I'll say too is that we get the fact that you're adult learners, and many of you have other responsibilities, families, job obligations, and so forth. And we try as best we can to work within the parameters of working with adult learners. And so while the program's intensive, and it is, we also understand, for example, most of our students, a frequently asked question is, can I continue to work while I do the MAT? And the answer to that is most of our students do. And until student teaching is a full-time job, though. And so from the first week in January for 12 weeks after that, it's full-time in the schools. So we have a great job placement rate. I don't know the exact number. It's in the 90 some percentile. And that's not just because it's K-State. I'd like to think it's because of K-State and all the wonderful things we do, but it's really because we have really high quality students like you all that sign up for our program. And, there, as a principal, there's a little difference between hiring an MAT student, an adult learner, and somebody that has a little bit more life experience than somebody that's fresh out of school. It's just and I'm not saying that always means that you're going to be a better teacher. My daughter is young and a new teacher, and I think she's pretty good. But the more life experience you have, the better able you are to make judgments about what to do with kids and how to motivate them and how to teach them about solving for X and all the other things that you have to do, the opposite side of I better not show off my mathematics. I'll stop there. I did take calculus though in high school, not pre-cal, but actual calculus, and wasn't terribly successful. But I did take both semesters of calculus in high school, And I couldn't really conceptually understand very much, Dr. Nguyen, but I could memorize enough problems and then apply my memorized problems to enough problems on the test, and then maybe the teacher was just a little bit nice to me, and that was good enough for a C. And so I'm okay with that. We all have our strengths, we all have our weaknesses.
That's right.
So any questions from any of you? You can unmute yourself or ask questions in the, yes, Stephanie, please.
Mm-hmm.
I have a couple. One is I'm not a math major. I'm right now thinking either elementary ed, or I wanted to pick a field of secondary education to investigate. My undergraduate degrees are agricultural economics and my master's is food science. So how would I make the determination fact if this was even a good avenue to pursue?
Excellent, excellent question, Stephanie. For someone like you, my suggestion would be, if you went the elementary route and got a K-6 license, you can test into any other secondary subject. So, okay. You would be trained in essence as an elementary teacher, which, you know, in elementary school, we have the 4 big subject areas, right? We have mathematics, English language arts, science, and social studies. So you get broadly educated in all those things. And then, you know, if you gravitated towards one or the other, you could test into that, one of those, or you could test into, you know, you mentioned, what'd you say, food science?
Yes.
So you could test into family and consumer sciences. And, you know, we don't have an MAT in family and consumer sciences, but that would be a natural fit for you, right? With your education and background. You could also test into mathematics and take the, what you do is you take the mathematics or the family and consumer sciences or whatever secondary subject area praxis test. And you can go from elementary, Stephanie, to secondary, but you can't go from secondary to elementary. Okay. And it's a weird thing. Well, not really a weird thing, I guess. There's reasons for it, but so that's what, Dr. Nguyen, do you have other ideas for Stephanie?
Yeah, sure. You know, so Stephanie, you know, you can send me more follow-up questions after this, right? But like depending on the classes you've taken with Ag Econ, you may have probably taken a fair amount of math classes already, or math related classes, where you can probably do trig or you know, things like that fairly easily, or you can study for it and pass the test, and that will be closely enough related to math that you can test into the math program. Right. So one of the advantages of, say, going into the math directly is that it are those curriculum courses that I talked about, right? Because we can then train you specifically on how to write lesson plans for mathematics. And if you are not sure about, say, you know, the geometry is the one where most people have concerns with, is because, like, you know, the last time they did was like, you know, 10th grade in high school. So, you know, we will give you lesson plans, practice problems, quizzes, and things like that to shore you up on geometry, so that if by chance you have to teach geometry in your first or second year, you can, hey, I know how to do this. I can teach myself so that I can teach my students, right? I have enough background in this so I can do it.
That's a good point. I forgot Ag Econ. Yeah, you would have a lot of math in that. Yeah. So there would be some real advantages to go the math route first. But sometimes we have people that don't have the background, Stephanie, and then it's probably better for them to just go elementary and then test into whatever else they want to do. And by the way, you can go from secondary area to secondary area. I don't know if you knew that, Dr. Nguyen, but you can, you know, say Stephanie went mathematics, and sometime down the line, Stephanie, you wanted to teach family and consumer sciences, you could jump over, take the praxis in family and consumer. You can go from secondary to secondary too. You just can't go from secondary to elementary.
Perfect.
Well,
Thank you.
that's true. I would say that teaching in math has benefits. We are more hard to staff, so you get paid a little more. But that's, I won't say anything else about us other subjects.
No, it's true. Well, there's a reason why we pay people to get to become math teachers. They're hard to find, and good ones are really hard to find.
You have another question for us, Stephanie?
I do. So with the secondary math, is it the traditional math that, I graduated high school in 2000, and then I went to KState for my undergrad. Is the secondary math still more the traditional learning, or I've subbed recently in elementary, and they have this odd way of breaking things up that it takes 10 steps to do things I learned to do in 2 steps. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, I know. So we are geared towards doing the sort of the traditional mathematical ways of teaching and learning, right?
Okay.
At the same time. So like, what you learn is what is taught most of the time, right? Now, we also know at the same time that we have a lot more technology now, a lot more softwares that will allow you to do certain things faster. So we will also, give you exposure to that. But the core of our teaching is like, what is the best way to teach you to think about, factoring, right? And what is the most efficient way to think about that? At the same time, we'll show you, like, think about manipulatives and other ways of thinking about it, geometric ways of thinking about factoring, right? But at the core of it, it's like, hey, how do mathematicians think about this? So you'll be just fine. That's the way we would like to start. Yeah.
Thank you for answering all those questions.
Sure. You are welcome. All right. Other questions from Stephanie or other people?
Hey. Hey, my name is Kirill, and I'm like Stephanie. I don't necessarily have the math degree. I got a degree from a small private Christian school in business and sports management as my bachelor's, and I got a master's degree in leadership. And I'm currently working at Abilene Middle School and a full-time substitute teacher there. Mm-hmm. But I really want to teach math. And, I'm originally from Russia, and I have a strong background in math. And I understand that you got to take praxis 51, 61 in order to get in the program. And I'm looking at that, and I'm pretty confident, if I'm just studying a little more, I'm definitely going to pass that. So my question is, do I need, to take additional courses to enroll in the program, or I just need to pass praxis? And if my score is good enough, I'll be able to enroll.
So correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Vaughns, but if you can pass the practice, you have the GPA, and you have enough, you it sounds like to me like you would have enough math classes from your bachelor degree.
For my business, I only took college algebra. I've been taking accounting courses, and but
those are math related courses, right?
Yeah.
If you can show us that you can pass the math practice, that will be adequate for us, right? And then in the colloquium courses, let's say you have never done calculus, okay? We'll provide you with lesson plans and materials so that you can get caught up and get a sense of like, hey, this is what calculus is about. If I need to teach calculus, this is what I need to do. Or, oh my gosh, I don't know this material, so let me make sure that I don't teach calculus in my first year as a math teacher, right? And then I can learn it and teach it later. But I think you would be able to get into the program and do just fine. Dr. Vaughns, is that about right?
Absolutely spot on.
Yeah, because the way you guys describing it, that you will break it down, and it's you're focusing on the math. I don't want to necessarily get my into elementary. I want to teach in middle school and high school, because I'm also a basketball coach, so it's a route I go to, and I really want to focus on the mathematics, and that's my only question was like, am I what about the math content, so I appreciate broke it down.
No, I think that's right. And if you're going to be you're also going to coach basketballs or other sports related, most likely from my experience, is that they're going to ask you to teach like algebra, algebra 2, pre-algebra, or geometry, right? Nothing like really in trig or calc, because they usually reserve those for math teachers who are just doing mathematics. And then so then you wouldn't have to be concerned about like, hey, if I'm weak in trigonometry, right? What would I do about that? They usually stop asking you to, at the algebra 2 level, since you're doing other things on top. So I think you should be fine.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Dr. Will, where are you, what part of Russia are you from?
I'm from Moscow, Russia.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been there a couple
Yep.
times. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I went to school in Oklahoma City, so
Uh-huh.
play basketball
Oh.
there. And my wife, she does her PhD in physics at KState, so we moved here last year.
Oh, excellent.
I'm
Yep.
from Oklahoma City.
Yep.
All right. What school in Oklahoma City did you go to?
Southwestern Christian University, the small private Christian school in Bethany, Oklahoma City, same thing. So
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I would have given I was about a high school basketball player,
yeah,
but not good enough to play college. I would have loved to have continued. I continued to play basketball until I was 26, but then I started having kids and got too busy to play. So do you still play?
yeah. I mean, I'm 25. I play now and then, but I coach so much, I don't have time for that,
Yeah.
So I coach in Abilene. I'm a head coach for the 8th grade there, and coach here in Manhattan for the one of the travel team. So when I do a lot of
I coached 9th graders when I was a teacher in Lincoln, Nebraska. We had 125. I coached at a big school. We had 125 kids go out for 9th grade basketball, and there were maybe like 5 kids that were on upper division teams that weren't on the and then I got to choose the 15 others. But I felt so bad for. There's 100 kids that we had to turn away. That's one of the problems with, teaching at a ginormous school. Kids can't, everybody that wants to play basketball can't, or be in the play or whatever. So it's a shame, but
yeah.
it's a lot of fun. I loved it. I coached swimming too. I was fishing club sponsor. I love all those extracurricular things in addition to.
Yeah.
I'm a social studies teacher, by the way, a high school social studies teacher. So
I was the assistant coach in college, when my wife moved here. So I decided I want to teach. I just went.
That's great. That's awesome. Yeah.
I think, I got my master's degree in leadership. I mean, I really wanted to get the MBA, but then, I got the opportunity to get, the leadership degree for free. And so, my coaching staff, just, give me the full ride for that for 2 years, and I got it. And I was assistant coach as well. So, and I was thinking, if you have a master's degree, you can coach in college. And I was thinking to go this route, but then I was like, I would rather be a teacher and coach in high school.
Well, so many coaches, really successful coaches, have gotten their start in in middle school or high school or whatever. And I think K-State's current coach was a 5th grade teacher at one time.
Coach Weber.
Coach Weber, yeah, he was a 5th grade teacher. He said in his job interview, I think he came over from Illinois, and they asked him about something about the toughest part of his job, and he said, "Oh, this coaching basketball is easy. Teaching 5th graders was hard." So,
Get frustrated with fundamentals and stuff.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, that's great. That's awesome. Kim, Courtney, do you have any questions?
No, I'm all good. I think I've enjoyed listening to y'all talk about your teaching and trying to decide if this is the right program for me or not. So
Good.
got a lot of stuff to consider.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. If you need anything, we're a phone call or an email away.
And it's good to hear that you are real supportive of helping us brush up on some of our math topics that we didn't maybe do so well in high school. And so, because I work with special ed kids as a para, so, and I really enjoy that level of math, just teaching them bare bone basics. So
Such
would-
great experience, being a para, really great experience.
Yeah, we have one student right now actually who's in a similar position as you are, being a para for special ed. And so she's working on, learning her algebra and geometry and trig so that she can answer, all those questions that they have. But basically,
Yeah.
we do want to make sure that, if there are things that you're not sure about, or if you have concerns about, we will work at it so that you will feel confident going into the classroom.
That's awesome. Thanks.
Yeah, Dr. Nguyen mentioned that we try to meet, and it's not just in the mathematics program, but in the MAT, we try to meet every student where they're at, wherever you're at, wherever your head's at, whatever experience you have. All of you, it sounds like, have experience with kids. Well, not everyone does, right? And so, and some of them, some of your classmates have other kinds of experiences that bring. We're rated in the top 10 not because of how great the faculty are, or because how many books we have in the library, although our faculty are great, and we do have a hell of a nice library, but that's not the reason why we're in the top 10. We're in the top 10 because we attract really great students. I mean, top-notch students like all of you. So you get a rub out. Harvard is Harvard, not because of the faculty and books in the library, but because of who you get to rub elbows with at Harvard, right? Because you're studying next to people that ask great questions and think about solutions that are. I mean, it's kind of that way in basketball too, right, Kirill? I mean, if you want to be a great basketball player, go play with the really good basketball players, and you'll get better. And so the same thing goes with teaching. Hang out with a bunch of really capable, smart, professional people that are talking about what's best to do with kids, that are led by, a professional like Dr. Nguyen, and it's a recipe for success.
I do have one other quick question.
Sure.
Sometimes I've heard, and maybe it's more if you stay in your same field, but that you don't want all your degrees from one university. Is that true for something like this? Because both my undergraduate and my master's are from Kansas State, hence why I'm looking to stay there, even though it's now remote.
So that is definitely not true in the field of education. That it's perfectly fine to get multiple degrees from the same institution. You get a good experience here at KState, the faculty, the area, that's perfectly fine. That is not frowned upon at all. So that would not be an issue.
Thank you.
The other myth that is common is, oh, they won't want to hire me because I have a master's degree. No, they, especially if you do a good job as a math teacher, and your cooperating teacher says Stephanie can do the job, or Kim can do the job, or Courtney or Kirill can do the job, you are going to be hired. There's just no two ways about it. There's a ton of demand for mathematics teachers, and our students, our MAT program has just an excellent reputation out in the schools in terms of being able to provide high quality people. So our folks are gobbled up by schools. We have a big online virtual teaching fair every year, and I think we had 100 school districts that came to it last year, and our MAT students and our undergraduate students too connected with a bunch of potential employers, and it was great.
So yeah, to Dr. Vaughn's point, I actually work with the KState State Department, Education Department here, and I actually analyze teacher attrition, retention, and hiring. And mathematics is one of those fields where we need more teachers. So if you got a math a teaching degree from K-State, you will be hired. Somebody, they're gonna want you. We have a shortage of math teachers, and having a master's degree is very highly looked upon, because they know that you're invested in the field and in education. So, and you get a little bump too from having a master's degree in when you're a teacher. So.
Any other questions?
Anything else?
Well, I want to thank Dr. Nguyen for taking the time to talk to all of us tonight. I want to thank all of you for 45 minutes of your time. And again, if you have any questions at all, we're just a phone call or an email. I to give you some indication of kind of our student centeredness. I give my cell phone number. My cell phone number is a part of my signature line, and I tell my MAT students they can call me anytime. I'm an empty nester. We're empty nesters. Our kids are grown, and so the only thing that you'll be interrupting if you call is the latest TV series that we're watching on Netflix or whatever. So. Feel free to call anytime or email or however we can assist you with the application process, with questions about the praxis, with anything, with any other questions that you might have. Dr. Nguyen, anything else?
No, I think that's it. I think we have given you all the information you need, and if you want more, like Dr. Vaughn says, feel free to email or call Dr. Vaughn, right? And he'll answer all your questions for you. And I will be in touch via email. So.
Sounds great. Talk to you all later.
Thank you very much, everybody. Have a good night.